Hey everybody, welcome to the A to Jump podcast, a podcast about mostly video games, but whatever nerdy things we're feeling. I am Justin of Justin Games. He is the Gooba half of Gooba and Jetpack, aka Jake. Jake, we both got up early. The Nintendo Switch 2 announcement has happened. Well, I mean, the announcement was already, but we know so much more stuff. It's pretty cool. We're going to run through it all. Jake's been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yep.
Cool.
I have some thoughts on that.
Sweet. I played a whole lot of Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm very excited to talk about that as well. I took like 2 pages of notes. So I'll try to decipher all those and make a coherent, some coherent thoughts. But, I mean, let's not waste any time. Jake, let's jump right into Nintendo Switch 2 stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first announcement was a brand new Mario Kart. We knew it was coming. It was in the announcement trailer. It's Mario Kart World. What were your thoughts on Mario Kart World?
So obviously we knew it was happening because they showed it in the Switch 2 announcement. But it is a lot more different than I thought it would be.
Me too.
Like there's, obviously, there's new tracks and new types of carts and stuff like that, but it almost sounds like there's going to be like an open world aspect.
Yeah.
Like there's a free, like basically like a free roam aspect of the game, or you can like select a, like, I don't really know how to word this, but there's like a way that you can drive between the different kingdoms or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the way that I think I described it when we were watching this is like it's like a racing battle royale. Like you have to be in a certain position when you get to a certain checkpoint, and then if you're behind that, then you're eliminated.
Yeah. I think that's pretty fun. I like that.
That sounds very cool. Like I'm when
Did
I
they
think about Mario
mention-
Kart. Go ahead.
Sorry, did they mention like how many racers there would be?
So not in this, or at least I
Yeah.
didn't catch it, but I know there was talk when the Switch 2 announcement happened. Like people counted how many starting spots there were on the track, and it was like
Right.
26 or 24 or something like that.
Yeah, okay. So that'd be cool. So every checkpoint, you got to be within 20, then 16, then 12 or something like that. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
And then like the last 4 people just go all out to try to win the race.
Yeah, it's 24 racers.
24
So-
racers.
That's pretty cool. So when I think about Mario Kart, like I love Mario Kart. I loved it since the N64.
Mhm.
But it's also a game that I don't play like a lot. Like I would play it with people, or maybe occasionally I would jump on and just do like time trials. But this, when I thought about Mario Kart, I was like, I don't know if that's a system seller for me,
For you,
but
yeah.
this kind of looks like it might be. Like
It looks
just-
pretty cool.
it's, yeah, because there's like, it's not just like do this set of 4 races. All right, now you like move on to the next section and do like the next cup and do those. Like you can, the open world aspect is really cool. The fact that you can do those sort of longer races that go through multiple sections, like
Hmm.
that has me looking at it a lot more excited than I think I initially was, just seeing that there was a new Mario Kart game.
Yeah, it is definitely a new take on Mario Kart, which is
Yeah.
really cool. I think they mentioned you could like race from one end of the map to the other, like seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, the thing I want from Mario Kart is like 5,000 characters. Like I think that's I think that's fun just to mess around
Yeah.
with all the different characters and the carts and stuff like that. But
Just up the chaos a little bit. That sounds like so much fun.
yeah, more chaos, better.
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
it seems with 24 people on the same track,
That's
that sounds pretty chaotic. I like
Yeah.
that Because what is there normally? 8?
I think in Mario Kart 8 there was
Maybe 12? Maybe more than that.
I think it might have been 16.
It might have been 16. Oh man, it's
How
been so
many?
long
Now I'm
since I
curious.
played. So long since I played Mario Kart.
No, only 12.
Only 12. Okay.
I thought for sure it was more than that.
Weird.
Yeah, so
Um.
double the amount of racers, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, that is nuts. Yeah. Bring on the chaos. So April 17th there will be a Mario Kart World Direct. There's just gonna be directs for days over
just
here.
just all the directs. Just
Yeah.
knock them out.
Jake, you mentioned you don't really play. I mean, you wouldn't play Mario Kart very often just to like jump in for a time trial. But would you
Hmm.
play it more often if me and you could do it face to face with Nintendo Switch 2's new chat feature? So that mysterious C button was a chat button apparently.
Hmm.
Pressing that will bring up basically like a stream of your friends' games, or you can stream your game to your friends.
Hmm.
And with it has a all new like chat feature with a built-in microphone. Um, and if you want to purchase the Nintendo Switch 2 camera, you can impose your face over your gameplay, kind of like a green screen for like streamers or something. So you can put it over your face or just your face, from what it looked like. So Jake, we can stare each other down while we
Sure
blue
can.
to- blue tortoiseshell each other out of first place.
Well, I think it would be you that'd be blue tortoise shelling me because I would be in first, but
Always in first. Yeah, sure,
yeah.
whatever.
No, yeah, the camera, that's, you're gonna expect some weird, like random accessories from Nintendo.
Yep.
And
That
the camera definitely fits that description. I don't think that's gonna be a super high seller, if I'm being
no.
honest, but
I think the chat feature is pretty cool. I think it'd be
yeah,
fun just to like hop on Nintendo's your Switch with each other and just chat like you would on like Discord or something. So no
yeah.
need for any of
So
that.
have you ever used uh the Switch's chat feature?
No, it's on the app, isn't it?
Yeah. And this like this is definitely an improvement on that because I've used
Yeah.
that before. Like back during COVID when Animal Crossing first came out, me, Jetpack, I think her brother and her sister, like we were all in a call on there together, and it was fine, but it was so weird, like having to
Yeah.
use the app on my phone to like talk
Yeah.
while we were playing the game, like it all being in one, like on the system, like it's bringing it up to the standards of like, you know, PlayStation and Xbox and stuff, but still like that is an improvement on where it was.
Definitely. I think this is a really cool thing. It shows Nintendo's willing to definitely listen to criticism that their online infrastructure is terrible.
Yeah.
And I really like this. I mean, I don't really use this kind of feature on my PlayStation very much, but I mean, PlayStation has parties and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I
Hmm.
don't know if they really have like gameplay sharing capabilities. Do they? Does it?
Um
I don't know. We'll have
I
to try it
think
sometime,
I don't
Jake.
know.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
But this is good. This is Nintendo like catching up, which they kind of
Yeah.
usually do.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it's cool. They said that there's going to be local co-op with certain games. If you have multiple Switches in your home, you're going to be able to play a game on both Switches with using only one game. So,
Hmm.
like if I fire up, there's only certain games. So they showed like a what like a like a casino type game that had a bunch of games in it.
Yeah.
I
Which
forget the
I'm
name
sure
of
they're
it.
gonna. It was like, I think it had 51 in the title. Like I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, it did
Like,
have 51, but it had card games and stuff like that, and like board games. But like, say if
mhm.
I had that on my Switch, or like my daughter had her own Switch, I could fire up that game, and then me and her can play it together, having only
Mhm.
bought it once,
Yeah.
which I think is really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah. That's cool. That's very consumer friendly. Um, like same thing with us. Like if me and Jetpack want to play a game together, only one of us has to buy it, and assuming it's compatible with this um feature. But you know, any game that allows you to play with someone else and you don't each have to buy it is a win in my book.
Big time. Yeah. Um, they laid this they laid this direct out a little weird. They announced the price like in the middle of it.
Oh, did they?
Or I'm sorry, not the price. The release date,
Yeah.
like in the middle of it. It is June 5th.
Yeah.
So like a month, 2 months from now, after from the time of this recording, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have long. Um, they announced the screen in handheld mode will be 1080 and 120 FPS, which is very nice. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then docked was full 4K. There was performance mode and whatever the other one is, the frame rate
The
mode or the resolution mode.
quality or performance,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
is like,
I get them confused because it kind of means the same thing.
yeah.
So I don't. There's resolution mode or frame rate mode.
Mm-hmm.
Full 4K. I'm assuming 60 FPS. They really didn't say.
So I saw, like, it was during one of the, like, the trailers or something, or like maybe in the little like splash section at the end.
Hmm.
On the bottom of the screen, it said it had like a breakout of
Yeah.
like the resolutions, and I think it was 4K on docked. I think it was 4K 60,
Hmm.
um, and then or 1080 120, and then on handheld, I think it was 1080 60.
Yeah. They
Um,
definitely said that.
mhm. But yeah, either way, huge improvement on the original Switch, um, which means that they can bring some, higher powered games to Switch 2,
Yeah.
which we definitely saw.
They didn't say anything about Scarlet and Violet. Like even if
Yeah,
they didn't even say there was a Nintendo Switch 2 version of it. So I'm curious what's going to happen with that.
I think they're just gonna, like, they've got ZA coming out this year,
Yeah,
so
they're only
I
going to
think they're
focus on
gonna
that.
they're gonna focus on that, or like even though that's kind of a side series, like
Hmm.
they're probably just gonna focus on the next mainline title.
Yeah, they'll
I
probably
think
they're just going to ignore it.
yeah,
Ignore
they're
it.
gonna forget about Scarlet and Violet,
Yeah, they don't want to bring
and
that up.
Sword and Shield. They don't care.
They don't. They're not going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Um, the Joy Cons will attach magnetically instead of the little slidey clicky thingy, which is
Mm-hmm.
cool because I felt like if I nudged it, the Joy Cons just right, they pop right off.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is an improvement on that, which it definitely seems like it would be. Um, Storage wise, it's 256 gigabytes, which is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Especially if you
What was the Switch? Wasn't it
no,
like,
they showed it. It wasn't much. It was like
yeah,
I don't know,
I think
16.
it was
Was it even that?
I think it was like 32. Well, no, maybe the OLED was like 32. No, it was 64.
It
The
was
OLED was
64.
64, so I think the original was
Might
probably
be 32.
32. Yep.
Okay. And then they
So
mentioned that does have expandable storage, but it required like a new Express type SD card, so your old
yeah,
ones ain't gonna
which
work.
I looked it up, and it's not as crazy as I thought it was going to be in terms of price.
Yeah,
For a 256, I think you were looking at like $60.
that's not bad. Expandable storage
Yeah.
is, or digital storage is pretty cheap, and they go on sale all the time.
Oh yeah.
So, and you'll be fine with 256 for a while,
Yeah.
unless you're just got 1,000 games on there.
Yeah.
Um,
And for anyone wondering, you do not have to buy the Nintendo brand storage. Like,
no, they showed a Samsung one.
yeah,
I think I don't know. They kind of made it sound like it had to be that Express though. Like, don't go buy on
it is. Yeah, it does
a
have to be express, but you can buy that from multiple different brands, I believe.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so it doesn't have to be like the first party Nintendo one, because I'm sure
Which
those are going to be
more
stupid
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
expensive for a little mushroom or a star on there.
Yeah, that's
You're
all
paying
it
for
is.
that. You're paying for that graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I do love more storage. 4K we kind of talked about. There's a fan in the dock now
Mm-hmm.
that'll help cool your Switch for when you're in
Yeah.
docked mode, which is nice. And then they um, talked about the Welcome Tour, Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour, which is like the Nintendo version of Astro's Playroom. If you remember that,
Yeah.
you basically get to walk around a Switch 2 and its controllers, and it'll show you different features. It'll even show you like how stuff works. It seemed kind of cool. Like it showed how the magnets worked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think
No.
that's a cool little feature.
Yeah. Definitely not as interactive as Astro's Playroom, because in that you actually played through like each part of the system. This looks like it's
True.
going to be more like they might have a few little sort of mini games, but it's going to be a lot of like reading and
It,
you know,
it's very informative. That's for sure.
yeah, which is cool. Like,
It's fun little thing.
mhm.
Um, oh, I don't think I said the price. Now they did not say the price in the direct itself.
Mhm.
But we were doing some googling right after, and several outlets reported it's 449
Mhm.
for just the Switch 2. 499 if you want the Switch 2 bundled with Mario Kart World.
Mhm.
Which we were talking. There's no way that's only a $50 game,
No,
like by itself. So if you like Mario Kart, just get the bundle. It's gonna probably save you 20-30 bucks
yeah,
or 10-20 bucks.
I don't see like I don't see a point unless you just have no interest in Mario Kart whatsoever. Like, I don't see a point in not getting the bundle,
Yeah,
because you save, you know, 10-20 bucks or whatever. It's a game that I think most people are gonna want, are
it
gonna
is
play.
Switch's best-selling game by several million. So I think
Yeah.
this is pretty smart
Hmm.
move for them.
Hmm.
Um, thoughts on the price? I think it's about exactly what we thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think I guessed like I couldn't imagine it being lower than 400.
Yeah,
Like, because the Switch OLED is already 350. Um, so all the upgrades to that, like, I thought minimum $50 more.
mm,
Um, but an even $100 above the OLED for all of the upgrades you're getting, that makes sense to me.
yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty cool because what is a digital version of PS5? 400.
That's 400, I think.
So I don't know. I'm okay with the price. It's what
Yeah.
I expected.
Hmm.
Did I want it to be 299 like Switch One? Yes, but that was never gonna happen.
Yeah, that was
Not in,
wishful thinking.
not in today's economy. Next we got like Mario Party Jamboree update or like Nintendo Switch 2 version
Hmm.
that just added looks like new mini games and features that use the mouse feature of the Joy-Cons, um, the camera, the Nintendo Switch camera, so you'll be able to see each other the whole time, I guess.
Hmm.
Like during mini games and stuff like that.
I think there
Uh,
is there are games that are revolved around the camera too. Like,
oh
I think for
yeah,
the most part, it's just like so you can see each other. But I think there were a couple where like you're on camera and instead of like your character punching a block above you or something, it's you
yeah.
physically going like
It's
this.
it's you raising the roof.
Hmm.
So that's out July 24th, and they did say if you already own Mario Party Jamboree, you have to purchase an upgrade pack, which they did not specify how much would be. I would hope no more than $10, which is kind of the PlayStation way of doing things.
Yeah, yeah.
But
They
who knows?
announced there was quite a few of those like uh expanded versions of games that are already out
Hmm.
announced in this. So I'm it has me very curious what that expansion cost is going to be. Like I would hope that I mean I wish it was free. I wish that you could just upgrade for free if you already bought the game
Hmm.
for $60 or whatever. Um but they're not going to make back their money that way. So if it's like 10 bucks, you know
Yep.
what? Like fair enough being able to experience like especially games like Zelda that
Yeah.
already looked pretty good on the original, but experience that in 4K 60, like that's what people have been wanting forever.
Yeah. So they did go into a few other first party Nintendo games that were getting Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades. So Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were getting one.
Hmm.
They even showed off a weird app, which Nintendo loves their gimmicky stuff. There's an app that will like direct you towards items on the map. Like you can
Yeah,
select something on the map and it'll tell you continue north or
yeah,
a little weird. And that could have just been a feature added to the game
yeah. I mean,
that just kind of guides you.
I mean that's a cool feature for someone who likes it. I'm never gonna use that, like
No,
especially the voice thing. I don't even turn that on like in my car
right.
for like GPS. I turn the voice off. I don't want to hear that.
Well,
Like,
then how do you know where you're going?
see it on the screen.
Oh, so you look away from the road to your phone
Okay.
and look at
Well, mine
wow.
mine
Stay off the
shows up
road
on the
and
car, so
oh yeah, you got a fancy car. Okay. Stay off the road in South Carolina, everybody. Jake's looking
I'm
at his
probably the
GPS.
safest driver in South Carolina.
I couldn't remember which Carolina you were in for a second. I had to think
Everyone
about
always says North. They're like, "Hey, you're in North Carolina." I was like, "No, we're the other one.
it. We're the Southie one.
We have better
I
beaches."
went to a beach in North Carolina once. It was fine.
I don't think I've ever been to the beach in North Carolina. I hear it. I think it's probably fine. They're probably
It
about the
was
same.
it was very wavy.
Yeah.
There's lots of waves, so that was kind of
Yeah,
fun getting tackled by waves.
the Atlantic is pretty wavy.
She's choppy. Anyway,
Yeah.
so as we talked about Zelda, um, both of those. Kirby is getting a new story as well as graphical updates.
Hmm.
I forget the subtitle of that Kirby game. It's the new
Um
Dream
for
World. Is that an old one?
it was like no, it's Kirby
Forgotten
Forgotten Kingdom?
Kingdom. Yep, I said it first. Um,
The Forgotten Land.
dang it. Forgotten Land.
And then the expansion is Star-Crossed World.
It has an expansion. I've heard that is actually very good. I've heard like the ending is pretty intense.
Yeah.
So that might be kind of fun to check out sometime. So
Hmm.
that's getting all new story, um, graphical updates. Pokemon Legends ZA, which we got a little bit more information on last week
Hmm.
at the direct.
In
That's
another
getting
direct.
yeah, Jesus, all kinds of directs.
Hmm.
Um, pretty much just graphical upgrades, I think, is always coming with that. Um, are you looking forward to ZA?
I am, yeah. I think it's I really liked, I mean, I for the most part liked
Kind of like.
Legends Arceus.
Hmm.
Um and I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit skeptical on the city aspect of it, that the fact that it only takes place in a city and then
Yeah.
there's like wild zones or whatever where the Pokemon are, like that's a little weird, but I do like the changes that they've made to the battle system.
Hmm.
Like your Pokemon can actually like move around and dodge attacks and stuff like that now. Um, like it seems a lot more kind of interactive than just, you know, turn based, like you do your attack, they do theirs, so on and so forth, and then the
I kind of
system
like that.
decides if you miss. Like so I'm excited for that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's Pokemon, so I'm sure that I'm gonna also be disappointed in some ways, but
Yeah.
like the first Pokemon Legends was the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game in a long time. So
Whoa. Okay. Nice.
yeah,
And no release date for that, right? Yeah, just 2025.
yeah, I would
Um,
guess maybe fall.
yeah, I would guess fall too.
Mhm.
Um, Definitely, if you're wanting a Switch 2 or even kind of contemplating a Switch 2, uh, wait for Switch 2 or wait for Switch 2 to come out before you buy ZA because that's gonna
Yeah,
be the place to play it.
yeah, yeah. I'll hold off on that. I think, especially because we don't know how much the uh upgrade charge is going to be.
Yeah, save
Like,
yourself some cash.
which that's I wish that they would just do it like PlayStation did when PS5 came out. Like you buy a version that has PS4 and PS5
Yeah.
like included,
Hmm.
so play the you can play a new game on your old system until scalpers finally let up on the new system.
Yeah. I just thought of something. It would be slimy if so the only as far as I know, the only $70 Nintendo game is Tears of the Kingdom.
I think so,
So
yeah.
the rest of them have been $60. It would be slimy if Nintendo Switch 1 versions of games were $60 and Nintendo Switch 2 versions of games were $70. And to upgrade would still cost $10. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, but I think that's how PlayStation did it too.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think when PS5 first came out, it was $60 for the PS4 version and then 70 for the PS5.
I guess
And then if you
that's not super slimy, I guess. That's makes sense. So you
it's
paid
just paying
60, you pay the extra 10 to get to that 70. Okay.
yeah, it's just paying
That's
the
not bad.
difference.
Okay, I take it back. That's not bad.
um so one thing that I did find just kind of cruising through the direct here
Hmm.
is the difference in resolution. So this was
Okay.
specifically for Metroid Prime. Um but the quality mode was 4K 60 FPS with HDR on dock, and then 1080p 60 on handheld. Performance mode is 1080 120 with HDR on dock, and then handheld was 720 120.
Okay.
Yeah.
720, 120.
Yeah.
I wonder what that would look like.
It'd probably be smooth.
Pretty smooth, but man,
Yeah.
everything's going to look like garbage.
I mean, like, because I was thinking about it in terms of resolution. Like, yeah, the Switch uh, handheld has been 720 for a long time, but what sucked
True.
about it was that it was like 30 FPS.
Yeah.
Um, where you don't really have to up the resolution a whole lot to make it look a lot better.
Yeah.
Like the Steam Deck isn't even 1080. I think it's like 900p or something.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. So like the fact that it's this one can even do 1080 60 like is pretty good. That's a
I
pretty
agree.
substantial upgrade.
Yeah, I think it's gonna look pretty fancy. Pretty fancy.
Hmm.
Next we got a ton of third-party game announcements.
Hmm.
Big one is Elden Ring.
Yeah, which I feel like that was said almost in like a joking manner for the
Yeah,
last couple months. Is
it's
like
like who
it's
who'd be
gonna
funny
have
if
like you're gonna have Elden Ring on it, and you're gonna have like all these huge games, but then they actually show Elden Ring. I was like, oh, okay, so they were serious.
they were serious. So Elden
Yeah.
Ring, Final Fantasy VII, uh, remake and remake integrate, which is the
Hmm.
DLC. Rebirth was not mentioned, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I really liked remake, and I never played integrate,
Hmm.
so I don't know, maybe. Hades 2, we kind of already we assumed that was coming.
Yeah. I mean, the Hades one played just fine on the Switch, so
Hmm.
it
Yeah,
only
that's a
makes
good.
sense that it comes here.
That is a good Switch game.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 6, uh, Damon X Machina, which is probably something we should recognize, but I don't. That
Yeah,
would
I
be
feel
kind of
like Ex
cool.
Machina is just a phrase that's used a lot in
Yeah,
not just games, but also in like movies and stuff too.
yeah. So that looked kind of cool. It was a lot of mechs and stuff.
Hmm.
Madden is coming to Switch 2, which I guess Madden hadn't been on Switch yet. We were trying to think.
I mean, I thought for a long time that it was, but maybe not. I mean, and granted, I haven't played a Madden in years,
Yeah,
so.
same.
And they didn't announce college football 25 coming to Switch, which is, you know,
Yeah,
I wouldn't buy it again, but I would prefer that over Madden.
yeah. They also said FC, which is the soccer
Mhm.
game. I know that's already been on Switch. Uh, Hogwarts Legacy is getting a upgrade, just like a graphical upgrade. Tony Hawk 3 and 4, which I did not know was a thing until this. I saw it being like kind of teased, like they posted that teaser image or something, but I didn't see the actual announcement. So I know you're a big Tony Hawk guy. Are you
Oh yeah,
pumped about
yeah,
that?
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna get it on Switch.
No, no.
I'll probably get it on PlayStation,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
it's cool that I think one and two also came to Switch, but it was a little bit later.
Okay.
Um, this one it looks like it's coming out on launch on Switch 2, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, it's all about the trophies at this point.
Yeah.
And we did say if Nintendo created some sort of like achievement system on Switch 2, it would be a complete game changer for both of
Oh
us.
yeah.
It's
Like
so
that's
silly to think about, but it's true. It's so true.
it is, but that's part of the reason that I play on PlayStation for most things. Like I want those trophies.
I
Like,
want those trophies. I'm addicted. Um,
once you get one platinum, you can never go back.
it's so true. It is true. I have to tell you that my daughter makes fun of me quite often because you have more platinum trophies than me. She's like, Jake, she always says, Jake's such a way
Yes.
better gamer than you. I'm like, Autumn, what the heck? Like, how many platinum trophies do you even have? I'm like 5. How many does he have? And I went on your profile and looked. It's like 12 or something. She's like,
I think
wow,
it's at 14 now.
he's way better than you. Okay, thanks.
I mean, in like in your defense, a lot of the platinums I have are games that I already beat that I just
Yeah.
went back and did all the side stuff because it's like it's all my favorite games that I play a ton anyway.
Hmm.
So there's
I
only a few on there that I actually like started and finished like the platinum run all in one go.
Yeah. Like I tried to explain to her, like we play different types of games. I I play JRPGs that are enormous and
Yeah.
would require hundreds of hours to get the platinums. Like sometimes these games, other games don't really take that long, and Jake
Yeah.
plays a lot of those ones.
I play games that take like, maybe 40 hours to get the platinum, where yours are like
Yeah,
hundreds of hours.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth platinum trophy is kind of insane. It would take
Hmm.
a crazy amount of time to do it,
Yeah.
even without the hard mode achievement or trophy. Just
Hmm.
like you have to like get top rank in all the mini games, and some of those mini games are freaking hard.
Yeah.
So I've kind of given up on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, next there was Hitman World
Hmm.
of Assassination. Uh,
Yeah.
Hitman's a very popular game. I hear it's extremely good. So that's big news.
Hmm.
Um, they announced Project 007, which is a new James Bond game from the same creators of Hitman,
Hmm.
which is cool.
Yeah. For,
Bravely Default Remastered was next. So Bravely Default 1 was a 3DS game, which I have. Uh, but this is all remastered in that. Bravely Default 2 was extremely good. That came out a few
yeah.
years ago. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Hmm.
Yakuza 0 Director's Cut was next. Stop me if you have any thoughts on these games.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm good.
okay. Yakuza 0, I think, is one of the more popular Yakuza games. They called it Yakuza, not Like a Dragon. But I guess that's going to be a new games or Like a Dragon.
Yeah, I think they're not like trying to hide the title of Yakuza. I think they just like, with their newer games, they're rebranding it.
Yeah, new ones are all. Yeah, it'd be very confusing if they made Like a Dragon 0.
Hmm.
Next was Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I spelled imprisonment very wrong in my notes. I have
Close enough.
imprisonement. It's missing a few letters there. But this is the Muso version. We've gotten several of these.
Hmm.
The Muso version of Tears of the Kingdom. We got Age of Calamity for Breath of the Wild. Hyrule Warriors, like the original one. We've
Hmm.
gotten a few Fire Emblem ones, and a few others. But these are the Fire Emblem Three Hopes was extremely good. I like that one a lot. That's the only one I've played. But these
Hmm.
apparently keep doing well because they keep on making them. And then added to the Nintendo Switch online expansion pack were GameCube games, and they showed a quick like little roll by. There was Super Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, which is one of the more popular ones.
Hmm.
Uh, I kind of forget what else there was. Do you remember?
They showed a decent amount of Wind Waker,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
Wind Waker
Legend of Zelda. They showed Soul Calibur, whichever this one. I don't know if it's Soul Calibur one,
2.
two,
It was
whatever.
it was 2.
It's two. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
F Zero GX
Right?
was another one. Yeah, a pretty good selection of GameCube games on there. I know,
Yeah,
like, people been asking for like since the Switch One came out to get a Wind Waker remaster. So not quite that, but still something I think people will be excited for.
it's thundering outside. It scared me. Uh, yeah, the expansion pack I think is a pretty good deal.
Hmm.
I think it's like $40 a year extra, and you get all the Mario Kart 8 tracks. You get um all the is it the Super Smash Bros characters you get?
Um.
Maybe not. You definitely get the Animal Crossing expansion. I know that.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then I believe there's something else. Some other. Oh, I think it's Splatoon. You get some sort of Splatoon thing. Are
Yeah.
you looking it up? I'll look it up.
I'm trying to find it in the direct here.
Nintendo. Expansion pack.
Yeah, you get the Mario Kart 8 course pack, Animal Crossing, Splatoon 2,
Yeah.
and then all of the uh retro console
Yeah.
games.
Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis, and I thought you got like Game Boy Advance too.
You
I
get Game Boy
believe.
Advance, you get some original Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, I think.
Yeah, that's just with the normal one. You don't need
Oh,
expansion
you
for
don't. Oh,
that.
yeah, that's right.
Um,
Yeah, so then
yeah,
the expansion was just those games I mentioned, and then N64, Sega, Genesis, and Game Boy Advance.
yeah. Which, if you're into your retro games, that's a really good deal. That's probably a lot of fun
That's
for you.
that's a good selection of games too.
Yeah, a whole lot. Let's see. Next was Deltarune, which you and I both said, "Shit, what's that?" But that's apparently the se- sequel, maybe not sequel, but to Undertale.
Yeah,
That's why we recognized it.
yeah. It's in the Undertale series somehow.
Yeah,
I've never played it.
never played
Um,
them.
is
Um,
Deltarune? Wait a minute. Is Deltarune a what's the um type of word where like you change the letters and make a new word? Because I think Deltarune is one of those for Undertale.
yeah, looks like it.
What's the
UN.
name? I feel so dumb right now.
Yeah,
What's the name of that
I don't know. Wait,
term?
I don't know. You're right. It is. That's really cool. I don't know what the name of that word is. It's like palindrome, but not. Let's see.
I
Word.
can't. Anagram. Is that it? A word or phrase
Kind
formed by
of.
rearranging the letters of a different word or phrase,
Yeah.
typically
I
using
guess
all the
so.
original letters. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's an
Yeah.
anagram.
So
Glad we solved that.
sorry for that tangent. It's like my I had a light bulb go off and I was like, those are the same letters.
That's good. Nice catch,
Yeah.
Jake. I wouldn't have noticed that.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, always catching
That
good shit.
riveting commentary.
It was. That was nice. Borderlands 4 was confirmed to come to Switch 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool. I mean, they're just. I think Gearbox has just been trying really hard to get the next big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So putting it on every system possible is good for them.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Civ 7, we kind of assumed that was happening.
Yeah, especially with the new mouse controls on Switch. Like that seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. I think we were talking about that last time. Like
Mm-hmm.
PC ports to Switch are gonna benefit greatly from that
Yeah.
mouse function. WWE 2K and NBA 2K are coming. If you care at all about either of those two sports,
I
which
do not, but I'm sure
Jake and
somebody does.
I do not. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We talked about that already. That's big. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's I like that. First, gotta be one of the first modern Final Fantasies to come to Switch. Final Fantasy 15 had the Pocket Edition. 13's not on there. So
Mm-hmm.
since Final Fantasy 12,
Yeah.
which is cool. Next was the big announcement. Jake, they played this little cinematic trailer, and I have to give myself credit because I said this is giving FromSoft vibes, and like
Yeah.
right before that or right after that, FromSoft pops up on the screen. So I was pretty proud of myself in
Yeah.
that.
Which is so like, I think I initially thought that it was like a new, like a modern Castlevania game or something.
Yeah,
I was like, this seems really dark and really like From Software y.
yeah, it definitely was. And then they
Like,
started showing gameplay, or like at least I don't know, no
like
UI or anything was shown, but
a better look at the environment and
yeah,
like
and the
some of the movement, I think.
characters were very strange. There was a big frog with boobies and a weird smile. It was giving like near vibes. You know the character,
Yeah.
the round face and the big smile. There was a lot of near
Hmm.
stuff in there. Um, and then the robot with with the jetpack remind me a lot of Pascal from Nier Automata.
Hmm.
So yeah, weird near vibes. But at one point we said like, how big would this be for Switch if this was only available on Nintendo Switch 2 and not on PlayStation and Xbox? And then it popped right up saying only available. Like, oh, that's called the Dusk Bloods. Sorry,
Yeah.
the Dusk Bloods, which cool name. I do love the way FromSoft names their games. It's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, that's huge for them.
Yeah. Like for a long time it's felt like the Switch as a platform is like you're never going to see a From Software game on there. It's just they're too big, they're too like, you know, they need way more power than a Switch can provide.
Hmm.
Um and not only it coming to Switch but it being exclusive, like that's crazy. And I
Yeah,
think that's going to honestly piss a lot of people off. Uh
probably.
like hardcore Soulsborne fans, like um, which speaking of the Born part of that, I thought this might be a new Bloodborne, which
Yeah.
that would have made people even more mad. Like
Yeah.
they forget that game exists for 10 years, and then they finally bring it back and it's on a different console.
That would be that would upset people. I don't think
Yeah.
FromSoft would do that, but just having a brand new FromSoft title exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2
Hmm.
is really cool. So the Dusk Bloods 2026.
Hmm.
Um I don't know. I get more and more intrigued by FromSoft games the older I get, because in the past it's like I'm never even gonna touch these. They're scary and hard. But the Dust Bloods look pretty cool. That looked neat.
Yeah, that's another one that I when I see it, I think to myself, I'm like, oh, I could play that. That looks awesome. And then I remember that it's a FromSoft game, and I'm like, I should maybe dial back my ambition on that. Like,
Yeah, no kidding. But that's gonna be a system seller for maybe like the other half. You know, the people, the hard, I
yeah,
don't want to say hardcore gamer, but the gamers that like those difficult games.
yeah,
Switch most a lot of Switch owners are gonna want like the cozy games for their, stuff like that. But this is gonna sell the systems to that other demographic.
hmm
So that's really smart, and that's big news. Honestly, it's really big.
yeah. I think for a long time, I didn't really see it this way, but I think a lot of people saw the Switch and Nintendo in general as like the platform for kids or
Yeah,
like the
definitely.
family friendly
Hmm.
platform. So them bringing over Elden Ring and this the Dust Bloods and then obviously like games like Hitman and stuff like that, it's starting to look more like uh an actual competitor to PS5 and Xbox.
Definitely. Yeah, they're pulling out all the stops on this, which they needed to do for sure. That's gonna be big for them.
Yeah.
Then after we went from, scary FromSoft stuff, we went to Kirby Air Riders, which is apparently a remake of Kirby Air Rider, which came out on the GameCube a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Jake was really hoping for a Mario game, but it didn't happen. It was Kirby.
Yeah, I got excited a couple times there for what I thought was a Mario game, and then it wasn't. But I was looking in the comments on the direct, and it seems like a lot of people actually are very excited about this Kirby Air Ride or Air Riders.
Air Riders, get it right?
Yeah. Well, the first one was called Kirby Air Ride, so
Oh yeah, Air
but,
Right now it's Riders. Gotcha.
Yeah, but apparently people are excited for that. I'm happy for them. I know there's going to be a new Mario game at some point.
It has to be. I'm amazed it wasn't announced today. I was really thinking it would be.
Yeah, it has to be in the works. Maybe they don't want to overshadow like the Mario Kart or like any of the other kind of launch games they have going, but I would bet within this year there will at least be an announcement of a new Mario.
Yeah, I mean, we still got the Summer Game Fest one, like the direct.
Mm-hmm.
There might be saving something big for that, which that would be big.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down that's coming out in 2025. 20,225. So you got a while to wait for that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's 2025.
Yeah.
And then the last thing they showed was Donkey Kong Bonanza, which it's been a long time since there's been a Donkey Kong game, I think. But this was kind of like a third-person open world, which looks like you could just destroy everything and dig holes and mine gold and eat bananas and all kinds of crazy stuff. You said this looked pretty cool. I don't know, I was unimpressed.
I see potential in this. I mean, I know there's a very loyal Donkey Kong fan base that's probably losing their minds right now.
Probably.
I think I only ever played like one other Donkey Kong game, and it was one of the standard ones. It was like a 2D platformer. But I thought this looked pretty cool. All the destruction aspects of it almost gives me like, you remember the game Rampage?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of gives me that kind of vibe, which I was like, that I always like that game, so that could be pretty cool.
Did you ever watch the Rampage movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
I think I've seen like clips from it. I don't think I ever actually sat down and watched the whole thing.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was it. That's out July 17th. And I did forget there was that one section, where they showed a bunch of games really quickly.
Do
you have that up?
I can go back to it probably.
Let's see, I just tried to do it and it said it wasn't available. Let me try to scroll here. Okay, it was right after this. Okay. They showed Survival Kids. I forgot to write that one down. I'm not really sure what that one's going to be about.
I think that was around the time that the stream kind of messed up. But
let's see, Enter the Gungeon 2. I've never played any of those.
I hear that. If that's... Yeah, it's kind of like a bullet hell, like top-down shooter. I hear it's pretty cool. The first one,
I'm not
at
even
least.
Positive if that's a new one or just an update that it's coming to Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
We got like a spacey game, Star Seeker.
Okay.
Okay,
a
that's from
fun name.
Devolver. Fun. And then Cyberpunk 2027, 2077 Ultimate
Mhm.
Edition. So I'm assuming that comes with the DLC
I would assume.
or the expansion. Yeah, because they just showed Idris Elba.
Hmm.
Cool. That's
Okay.
fun.
Yeah.
Um, Square Enix, yeah, telling Final Fantasy VII remake and integrate. Very cool. This was happening too fast. I couldn't write everything down. And yeah, like you said, the switch or the stream was messing up.
Yeah, the stream kind of cut out around here.
Yeah. Kinutsugami Path of the Goddess, which is a pretty good game. Hollow Knight Silk Song, apparently is 2025 now. Good Night
You know,
Universe, never heard of it. Two Point
yeah.
Museum, okay. Wild Hearts, which is like the only other Monster Hunter type game around
Hmm.
that's like big. So that's cool. Wild Hearts, that'd be fun to check out there. Witchbrook, which I know is like the next big cozy game.
Okay.
We're looking forward to that. Rune Factory, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah. There's
Nobunaga's Ambition, Fast Fusion. There's tons of games here. There's not going to be any complaints that there's no games to play when this thing comes out.
oh yeah.
Don't forget Fortnite. Fortnite will be there.
Obviously. Um we got Reanimal, the game from the old Little Nightmares team.
Yeah.
Um which I know you don't particularly play those games. I've been playing through the Little Nightmares series, and
Too
I
too scary.
I am constantly afraid when I'm playing those games, but they are very, very good games.
They are. Yeah, there's a ton of games. Really cool. The more the better,
Yeah.
you know. Cyberpunk. I mean, yeah, we're getting like some big AAA games on here. Final Fantasy VII,
Hmm.
Hogwarts Legacy, Elden Ring, Cyberpunk. Yeah, really, really, really cool.
And like this is just what's been announced so far. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, think about 6 months down the road, how many more like big AAA games are gonna make their way onto Switch 2 because it can finally handle all of that now.
yeah, that's really cool. I'm really happy. That's about it all. It's fun.
Mhm.
Man, speaking of scary, this thunder.
See it, I can see the door behind you, and it
Oh
looks
yeah,
like it's like
it's gloomy out there,
it.
my friend.
Yeah, it just looks blue from my
Oh
view,
yeah.
so it doesn't look like like super scary.
I think we'll be
So
okay.
mostly sunny here.
Okay, so it's we don't share the same weather on opposite sides of the country. Okay, good to know. Yeah. Okay, so that's everything announced at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct.
Hmm.
What did you think? Overall thoughts?
Uh, I'm pretty excited for it. I like. I still
Meaning,
kind of want to see what other things are, um, like what other things get announced in the next couple months or whatever. I don't know if I'm gonna do it day one or not. Um, it's just it's I want it now, like especially because of like
okay,
I
let's
said
pause
that
for
I
a
wasn't
second,
gonna
Jake.
get it.
Sorry,
Okay.
Char. Do you want to go outside in the rain? Well, Barbie. She what? Oh, is she? Okay. Dog had to go shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just kind of like cut you off. Unless, did you have more to say?
Um, what was I
Switch overall
talking
thoughts.
about? Oh, yeah. So I think you can just cut to
Yeah.
here.
I'll make it make sense.
Okay. Um, so yeah, I've been saying for a while now that like, as much as I would love to just, get it day one and and have it for whatever games come out in the future. Um, it's, you know, it's a lot of money. Can't really
Yeah.
just like drop it out of nowhere. And I said, I was like, the only way I'm going to do it is if there's a game that's exclusive to Switch 2 that I really want to play. And then sure enough, they dropped Mario Kart 9
Really cool
uh,
Mario Kart.
as a Switch 2 exclusive. I'm like, damn it.
Dang. They got ya.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a wait and see for me. I don't think I'm gonna like drop a pre-order on it as soon as it's open. Like, it's just it's almost too soon.
Yeah. And this would be good for people who like don't have a PlayStation or an Xbox
Yeah.
or a PC.
Hmm.
Like just people with Switches, because the only thing new that's big is coming is Mario Kart World.
Hmm.
Um, the Kirby stuff, the Zelda stuff, most of the third party stuff like Elden Ring and all that was coming out day one. But anything else, man? I mean, if you there's not much else big
Yeah,
that's
and
gonna be
like
available day one.
yeah, like I think the Dusk Bloods was until 2026.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, my mentality is the same as it kind of was on the original Switch. It's like this isn't going to become my primary console anyway.
No.
It's just not. Like I have PS5, that's where I have most of my games. I love the trophy system. That's for most games that come out on on multiple platforms, I'm going to play them on PlayStation. Like I just am. The
Yeah.
Switch is almost always going to be a Nintendo exclusive game console for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I will get it eventually. Like, I'm gonna. But,
Yeah.
you know, right now, the only thing that has me, like, really, you know, thinking about it is Mario Kart. Now, if they had said, also, here's a brand new, uh, like Mario Odyssey 2 or whatever, that's also exclusive to the Switch 2, that's where I'm gonna be like, okay, well, that
Now it's
makes
happening.
my decision a little bit easier. But for right now, you know, it's really just Mario Kart that has me feeling that way. Everything else or most everything else is coming out on other platforms, is already out, or I don't really care about as much.
Yeah. Yeah. For the person that the Switch isn't their main console, yeah, this isn't it's not a day one nab for me anyway.
Hmm.
I could see someone being really excited about, having the new graphics and stuff on
Hmm.
Zelda. Um yeah. Yeah, thinking about it now, it's kind of disappointing, but also understandable.
Yeah, like it's. I think once we found out that it wasn't an entirely new Nintendo console, like it wasn't the jump from the Wii U to the Switch. Like it's kind of basically I look at it as like the jump from 3DS to new 3DS. Like it's
Yeah.
essentially the same console, just upgraded, higher quality, you know,
Hmm.
better specs, but it's not like a massive game changing console.
No, it's like you said, it's gonna be when there's a game that we want to play, we can only play there. Because if I ever
Yeah,
wanted to play Elden Ring, I'm just gonna play it on my PlayStation.
yeah,
I
or
already have
PC.
Final Fantasy VII, yeah, or PC. So
Yeah,
this is for the people that are it's their only system, which
hmm,
is which there are people out there like that, and
yeah,
I think this is a good deal for them. They'll have a good time.
hmm. Or
But yeah,
for people, maybe people who travel that don't already have like a Steam Deck or
true.
an ROG Ally or something, like this could be their way into a handheld market. But
Yeah, yeah. This would be good for someone traveling, like yourself,
yeah,
and
but
just wants an Elden Ring or something like that. So that's pretty cool.
yeah,
But all right, any other thoughts? Otherwise, we'll move on to Assassin's Creed.
yeah. I mean, definitely very cool. I'm excited to see some of the changes they made to it. Um, I'm hopeful that we'll get more game announcements in the
Yeah.
near future. Like for me at this point, I'm just waiting on a Mario.
Hmm.
That's gonna be my kind of my deciding factor.
All right, Jake, you've been playing Assassin's Creed.
I
Assassin's
have.
Creed Shadow,
Um,
brand new. What do
hmm
we think?
um I kind of like it. I'm not gonna say that
Okay,
I love it yet.
kind of like it.
So here's my thoughts on it so far,
Hmm.
which is what you asked for.
Go
I
ahead and give me your thoughts, Jake.
so first of all, it starts out with you playing as Yasuke, um, which I am very interested in his story. Um, so basically, he was a slave that was brought to Japan by the Portuguese, um, and the Portuguese went to meet with Oda Nobunaga, which is like it. He's if you can look him up, he's like a historical figure.
Hmm.
And he was basically rescued from slavery by Oda Nobunaga to become a samurai for him. Um, and that like completely changed his life. So now he's like ultra loyal to Oda. Um, but in doing so, like I don't want to get into like the entire history of
Sure.
Oda because that's a whole thing. Like he's got a whole kind of controversy to him. Um, but in following orders from Oda, they take over. Um, I forget what the like the Iga village or whatever, which is where Naue is from.
Okay.
Um, so you play through the first like maybe 30 minutes as Yasuke. You figure out his backstory, you go fight as him for a little bit, and then it jumps to Naue. Um, and you play as Naue for the next like 10 hours.
Okay.
Like, which I don't dislike. I like playing. I think I probably will continue to play as her as often as I can because she actually feels like a real assassin.
Yeah.
Um, but it was a little bit weird starting out the game because I thought that it was going to be like, you know, going back and forth more um, to start out the game, but it really was like once you're done with that first section with Yasuke, which was pretty much just like a prologue, you really like the game becomes about Naue for like the next, you know, probably 5 to 10 hours, I would say. The world basically fully opens up. You get all of her abilities. Um, and then like you can spend a long time just in her section before you get to the part where they are kind of reconnected. Um, So that's a little bit weird. I think the pacing is kind of like they chose a kind of an awkward way to tell the story. Um, but in general, the story is not really like the reason that I'm there. It's the gameplay that's keeping me interested. And uh Nawe is definitely who I prefer with that. She feels like a real assassin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say that it's the best. Like they've made improvements for sure on the last few games in terms of combat, in terms of movement. Um, I don't think they went quite as hard as I wish they would have in the parkour aspects. Like
Okay.
I think Unity, for all its faults, is still probably the best they've ever done in terms of actual parkour and traversal. Um, but this game makes improvements. I like the fact that when you're if you're descending like down something, it used to be like you would just hold circle to like parkour down. Um, but when you get to the edge of something, it would just like you would kind of jump off and grab the edge of it and then have to hit it again to make yourself drop. Where with this one, you can actually like run off of something and she'll do a little like front flip onto the next platform rather than just like hanging onto the side and then jumping off from there. Um, so I like that part of it. Um, and just in general, she feels like like the more fitting assassin for this series. Because she's a shinobi, so she's like essentially a ninja.
Cool.
Um, and they've added some new elements to it, like you can actually go prone now, um, which has actually been pretty helpful, at least in like the stealth aspects of things. Um, because the NPCs are not as, I think, dumb as they've been in previous games. Like,
Okay, that's good.
because before you crouch in the tall grass. The tall grass was always like at the perfect height for you to crouch and
Yep.
not be seen. It's not like that anymore. Like there's certain sections where the grass is tall enough to lay down in, but it's not tall enough to be like crouched and be hidden. So you can crouch in it and your head is still above and they will see you. And
Oh, okay.
it shows like the eye meter and it shows that you are partially visible. Um, they also will actually look up sometimes now. Um,
Okay.
so like in previous games, like it doesn't matter if you're 2 feet above the enemy on a wire. Like they would never look up. They would
Yeah.
never see you if you were
Yeah.
walking right above them. It's not really like that anymore. I would say like not all, but some of them, particularly I think like the snipers, will actually like make a note to look around and like they can see you if you're up on a roof, even if you
Okay.
haven't like done something to notify them. Like they'll actually just make that part of their patrol is like looking up at the roofs. Um,
Smart.
so that actually I've enjoyed that. It's kind of made it not so easy to like stealth around certain areas. Something I will say that it probably is kind of cheating, but um, they went back to the sort of like the RPG style of combat where if you assassinate somebody, it's not an instant kill. Um, but there
That
is a
sucks.
setting that you can go into in the game modifiers where you can make assassinations instant kills. So
Okay. Did you turn that on?
I did, yeah.
Yes, of course.
I like, you know, I understand that, there are players who wanted the more RPG style combat where like an enemy's if it's a higher level, you can't just sneak up on it and get an instant kill. But I want that.
Yeah. If I
like
shove a
I
blade into some guy's spinal cord, he's gonna
yeah,
die.
like it doesn't matter if he's like a 300-pound like monster. If I stab him in the neck, he's gonna go down.
He's gonna die.
Yeah. So I immediately made that change. I'm very glad that I did, because like that would have been super annoying. Especially because there's a lot of like, obviously in the main missions there's assassinations, but there's a lot of like side activities.
Mm-hmm.
Like at every enemy base, as part of the way of liberating, is you have to kill the samurai that's stationed there. There's like usually at least one, but they can be up to like 5 at a certain outpost. And to kill those guys, you pretty much have to assassinate them. Otherwise, like as Naue, at least, you're not going to be strong enough to, like, it's going to be, you could win straight up combat, but it's going to be a hard fight.
Right.
Where the having the instant assassination for that makes it so much easier, because then you just have to find your way in and kind of get them cornered to the point where you can kill them that way. But on the other side of things, when you do play as Yasuke, which I've gotten to the point now where I've come back to both of them, like just barely.
Okay.
So I've played like one more mission as Yasuke, and that dude is, when it comes to combat, that dude is a cheat code. Like it is so, like, you can just mow through people, where like in a situation with Naue, where if you're up against 4 or 5 enemies, that encounter will take like several minutes, because you have to like, dodge and parry, and like you're gonna take, even for like the lower level grunt guys, it's gonna take at least 4 hits to take them down. But with Yasuke, you can just go in like
Just slice
swinging. Yeah. And like they can hit you, but it doesn't really do much damage. And that's like base level. I haven't upgraded him at all.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm interested to see, like, as the game progresses, what they do to like challenge you more when you're playing as him.
Mm-hmm.
I know from things that I've seen that he's basically useless when it comes to stealth and like the more assassin style gameplay. But when it comes to like the actual like face-to-face battles, I definitely pick him.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. So overall, I'm enjoying it. I have to be close to like 8 to 10 hours in at this point.
Okay.
There are definitely aspects of it that are very stereotypical Ubisoft. So there's a lot of, climbing towers to like for the viewpoints and stuff. There's a lot of like clearing outposts. One thing that I do like that they added is when you're doing a mission where you have to like follow someone and talk to them, it gives you the option to just hold X, and it'll like it'll fill a wheel, and then it'll just automatically follow them. You don't have to control it anymore, which,
okay, good.
That got me through several like long walking sections, because
Yeah.
like that just completely takes me out of it. I am so frustrated on those parts where like you have to walk at a slow pace that's slower than your normal walking,
Mm-hmm.
in order to keep up with these people. Like that just takes that whole part out of it, which I appreciate.
Yeah, that would have been nice in Brotherhood.
Yeah. That I haven't used it in like a trailing mission yet, so like actually having to follow like an enemy without being seen. I'm sure you
Okay.
still have to do that on your own.
Oh, I
But
see
the
what you're
ones where
saying.
but the ones where you're like with an ally and you're walking to
Gotcha.
a place, you can just hold the button, and it'll auto follow them.
Okay. Yeah, that is nice.
Um one other thing, that this is so like minuscule in the grand scheme of the game, but I
I love
like that
minuscule.
in the when you get like you climb the tower, you get to the viewpoint where you unlock that part of the map. Um, you don't have to press anything anymore. It'll
Weird.
automatically like as soon as you get to that point, it'll just zoom out and do like the
Okay.
circle. You don't have to get up there and hit triangle or whatever to like
Yeah.
initiate it. Um,
Synchronize.
yeah. And then once you do that, you can go back to that spot as much as you want. It'll never show that synchronize button again. It's just automatically there.
Do you like
Very
that?
small thing, but
Do you like it or no?
I like that
Hey,
you don't have to like is one less button to press. Um,
that's true.
which is it's so dumb, but it's something that
Yeah.
like I
So
immediately
little.
noticed. I was like, "Oh, cool."
Okay. Don't gotta push that. And had
um,
you played any of the RPG ones?
so I played a little bit of Origins when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I played a pretty decent amount of Valhalla when I first got a PS5. And I just like this game is definitely a step in the right direction, at least for me. Like I did not care for the more like RPG uh aspects of those games. Um this one like it definitely is it's still a huge map. There's still a ton of stuff to do, but it's not like the the fact that you have the choice between Naoe and Yasuke, if you prefer the more RPG like face to face combat, you have Yasuke for that. But if you prefer the like older Assassin's Creed games where it's more about stealth and about sneaking up on people, like I prefer, then use Naoe, and it's basically like one of those older games. Um, there's one more thing that I wanted to. Oh, so another thing they added that I kind of like is uh when you get like a mission objective now, it's not just like a symbol on the map that you have to go to and it takes you right to where you need to be. You
Mm-hmm.
have to gather some more information. So um there's certain like people that you can talk to in the world that like if you help them with something, they will basically help you with one of your objectives. So you can ask them for like a rumor that you will usually reveal like a side quest, or you can request information and they can give you like general information about one of your targets that you're looking for. Like they won't say like, "Oh, go directly to this spot and that's where he is." It's like he's in this city, he's south of this landmark. Um, like you can find him in this building, but it's not going to tell you like where this is. You have to either have a very like in-depth knowledge of the map, or you can uh send out like you can go on your map and you can send out a scout there, and it'll give you like a more general area of where it'll be.
That's
And
pretty cool,
then
actually.
yeah, and then once you get into that area, you have to like use your eagle vision or like find, use context clues to find where exactly they are. So like as an example, there's part where you have to go to like the gun district in this specific town, but you've never been to that town up until that point. So it says like he's in this town. This town is south of this temple or whatever, and then he's in this district of this town. So you have to like send a scout out there, figure out the general part of town, and then when you get there, you still have to find it on your own. Like it'll tell you like a certain sort of radius, but you have to find the exact spot on your own, which I think is cool. It makes it a little bit more like interactive than just like, oh, he's right here. You've got him on your map now. Like go find him. Like you there's a little bit more work to it, which I appreciate.
Yeah, that was an option, at least I remember in Odyssey, where
Okay.
you would have to use clues to find your target, or they can just tell you where it's at.
Hmm.
Which I tried both a little bit, I remember. And
Yeah.
yeah, just having to try to do some of the stuff yourself was definitely more satisfying.
Yeah. And I mean, like, there definitely are some things they do to help you, like, um, with the traversal, like, you can just, you can mark the general area on your map, and then, like, the game, when you're in the open world, has like the compass where it'll show you what icons are in the direction that you're facing. So you can just follow that and find your way that way, or you can turn on the Pathfinder, which basically puts a line on the road in front of you, and you just
Okay.
follow that.
All right.
So
You
there
got the
are
option.
there yeah, there are ways to make it easier for yourself, but you don't have to do them, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I saw that I didn't like, um, is like the story aspect. You could pick canon mode or like choices. Like I don't know what the other option is, but if there's like dialogue options that can like change kind of the course of the story, I
Hmm.
guess some people didn't like that. They just wanted a straight story mode where the player had no outcome on it. Did you notice that option at all?
Yeah. So I think I went for the I thought I went for the one that's like that my choice doesn't affect it, but I
Okay.
do there are still choices that I have to make
Hmm.
at least in terms of like dialogue, like I can choose between, like, um if they ask me a question, I can, like, tell them the truth, or I can, like, take a chance at a lie
Okay.
and kind of see how that affects my relationship with that person.
Maybe it's just like dialogue choices that will change the outcome of something.
Yeah,
Don't
which
pop up.
which, if I'm being honest, for me, I'm not all that invested in the story as a whole.
Okay.
Um so basically, like, to not go too much into spoilers, like, um Yasuke was a samurai for Oda Nobunaga, which, um is basically like he's trying to take over Japan, but in a way to unify Japan rather than like a clan wanting full, like, power. Um and basically, like, Yasuke and Oda take over Naoe's village. So she initially sees them as the enemy. Um, but then it's kind of revealed later on. Like, obviously they come together, they settle that, um, because there's now a new common enemy for them. That's basically like a worse version of Oda. Uh, but, like, the thing about it is, I don't really care. Like, they haven't done a great job of making me care about these, like, villains and what happens to them.
Hmm.
Like, obviously I know they're bad guys, but, like, um it hasn't really, like, I feel like in terms of story, I was more invested in, like, say, Ghost of Tsushima, where it was, you know, it was about the, like, the island as a whole being taken over, but it was more focused on, um the main character Jin's story, and, like, you dealt with his, like, character arc, um where it doesn't really feel like it's gonna be that for Yasuke and Naoe, which is a little bit disappointing because I really want to know more about specifically Yasuke. Like, his story is very interesting to me,
Hmm.
but it doesn't really seem like they're gonna dive much deeper into them individually. I think it's more just gonna be like, this is the setup, and then they introduce the characters and sort of go into, like, their backstory, how they got to where they are.
Hmm.
But I don't really think it's going to be about their development as much as it's about like their them taking down this common enemy. Like, and along with that, like the acting is just not very good.
Yeesh,
Like
that
it's a little
sucks.
bit it's a little bit dry. Um Something that I think we've kind of talked about this in the past. Like when it comes to dialogue in games, especially in cutscenes, like I don't like games where it's just like this person says their entire like monologue and then the next person says their thing and it's just like a back and forth. Like in that's not how real conversations are. Like
Right.
if it's like The Last of Us or God of War or Uncharted, like they're gonna be they're more genuine conversations because they aren't just like waiting for the person to say their thing and they come in and say theirs. Like they're talking over each other, they might interrupt each other. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel as fluid as a normal conversation, which it takes me out of it. It's kind of frustrating. And I know that that's more like a preference thing for me, but it just I don't find it as interesting as one of those other games.
Yeah. A game can be ruined for me too with bad dialogue
Hmm.
or bad acting.
Yeah, it's just there's outside of like a couple specific scenes, there's just such a lack of emotion in
Mm.
everything everybody says, and that's kind of a bummer. Like I want to care about this story, but at the end of the day, I'm still just like I'm there for the gameplay. I don't really
Yeah.
care about what's happening. I just kind of want to experience the gameplay aspect of it.
Mm. So overall, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It gets okay from Jake.
Yeah. As of right now, I am enjoying my time with it, even
Yeah, it
though
sounds like he's probably still
despite
got a
everything I
long way to
said,
go.
yeah, it's a big game. Um, it's gonna take probably minimum 30 hours if I just do the story. If I want to platinum it, it's probably gonna be double that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, which I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna do. But overall, it's better than what we've seen from them in the last few years, in my opinion.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Ubisoft really needed a win here.
Hmm.
And I saw there was some Ubisoft news that like Tencent invested like
Yeah.
$1.5 billion into their main franchises like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six.
Hmm.
So more good news for them, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll see what that turns into. I don't know how much of an effect that'll. I mean, maybe games will actually be finished now when they come out,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I will give them slight credit for on Shadows. Like obviously they delayed it multiple times, but they actually, you know, it's a lot more polished than I think some of their other games recently when they came out. Like I know some previous Assassin's Creed games and even Star Wars Outlaws like were kind of broken when
Mm-hmm.
they first released. This one like it still had some bugs, but overall like it runs pretty smooth. It looks great. It's one of the prettiest worlds that they've ever made.
Sweet.
Um but it's just, like it's we're basically asking the bare minimum and they're hitting that now, but it took them a long time to get there.
Well, congratulations on Ubisoft for hitting the bare minimum.
Yeah. All right, sir. Well, you've been playing quite a bit of another game.
I sure
You want to
have,
talk
Jake.
about that?
I would love to. Monster Hunter Wilds. If you've listened to any episode of this um, podcast before, you know I love Monster Hunter and I love Monster Hunter World very, very much. I was very much looking forward to Monster Hunter Wilds. I took days off of work to play this, which I hadn't done in a very, very long time. But yeah, I took a couple days off so I could have, unlimited time. And It's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's first of all, I think I want to like I don't know. I try to compose my thoughts because I have a lot of them.
Hmm.
First off, it is very different from World, um,
Yeah.
which makes sense. It's a brand new game. I don't really know what I was expecting, but I was expecting some similarities, and there's almost none. Um, Other than like the core gameplay of it.
Hmm.
But you don't have a hub world anymore, whereas in like World
Okay.
and Rise and all other previous uh, Monster Hunter titles, you would start in your hub world, go on a hunt, and then come back to your hub world and be able to do your thing
Hmm.
there, and you just rinse and repeat every single time. Um, Now you have it's not necessarily open world, open zone. Like there's
Hmm.
5 different regions. There's a loading screen in between them, but honestly, it's not distracting in any way. It's all still super seamless.
Hmm.
Um, so now the structure more is you have your hub world, or you have like a base camp, is what they're called, in each zone. So you start there, and then you have pop up camps you can go to and do all the same stuff there. But you can start at your base camp, and you can open up your map, and you have a list of all the monsters that are currently in the uh, area. And there's like time cycles for each of them. Certain monsters only pop up during certain times of like weather or day. There's a day night cycle. There's like 3 different weather cycles.
Hmm.
There's the I think it's called the fallow, the inclemency, and then the plenty. So the fallow is like the time before the big storms. It's like everything's kind of dead. There's not a lot of things going on. But then the fallow is like the big storms. There's ice storms in the ice place. There's huge rainstorms in the forest. There's like desert storms, like sandstorms in the desert. And that's when like the big monsters come out,
Hmm.
the apex predators. And then after the storms is the plenty. That's when like everything's really green, everything's really flush. There's um like um like the maps just change, and it's really really cool how
Hmm.
well you can notice it. Like animals do different things. There's different animals in different zones and different weather. Like certain animals migrate from the forest to the desert during the plenty, so they're if you go to the desert they're there, but if you go to the forest they're not there. It's really cool, just the kind of the living world they've tried to build.
Hmm.
Yeah, Elizabeth has made her appearance. um so that's kind of the way the world works. The wound system is all new. If you attack a monster in a certain like part of their body enough, you'll create a wound, and then
Hmm.
you have to use your focus strike to attack that wound, and you'll do some extra damage, and you'll get monster parts after you destroy it.
Hmm.
That's way different than World 2 because World didn't have anything like that. They had like a tenderizing system where you could like latch onto the monster and do a special attack that would like wound that area of the monster, but it would heal after a while and you wouldn't get any parts. It would just do more damage. So I really like this new wound system. It's fun and it's very satisfying because there's
Hmm.
a couple fights uh where I just kind of felt like I was getting my butt kicked and like I'm not really doing much damage to this monster and he's knocking me down, kicking my butt, but finally you work a zone enough to recreate a wound and you hit that wound, and with certain weapons hitting the wound like will upgrade your like with the longsword you'll upgrade your meter from like yellow to red if you hit a wound, and once you have the red meter you do more damage, and hitting a wound knocks the monster down. So it's really satisfying when you're getting your butt kicked, but you finally create a wound. You hit the wound. Now you have your special attacks. The monster's
Hmm.
down on the ground, and you just change the whole tide of the fight in a second. It's really really fun.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying to do. Um, the investigation system is completely different now, which was a huge mechanic in World. In World, you just have like an NPC you talk to who will give you a big list of monsters, and it'll show like the different rewards you have, and you just select from that list. Now you only have like the monsters that are in your area, so you just have to open the map and see what's in your area, and then you can select from there, and you can save them as investigations if you want. Like if there's a monster that has like a lot of rewards that's in the area, you can click on it and save it as an investigation, and then you can do it 3 more times. Whereas if you don't save it, you can only do it the one time, and then it's gone. So that's really cool. Big difference. I do like it more this way. I think it just
Hmm.
makes it more satisfying.
Yeah.
Let's see. Um, it definitely encourages exploration and discovery. Like I said, with
Hmm.
all the different weathers things, different items pop up. Um, like certain items only spawn when the weather's really bad, or during the plenty when everything kind of sprouts up. And then you can use all those items to, like, trade NPCs for other items, which is really cool. So it's always it's just fun to even just make a exploration build where there's certain armor skills where you can gather more items from collecting things or using gathering from bone piles or like the mining outcrops. So it's fun just to make an exploration build and just go out and explore, and then you just get extra stuff
Hmm.
that way. And then you can trade all that stuff for even cooler stuff. Let's see. I talked about the seasons. I talked about the endemic life. It's really cool. Um, which is all the like the small monsters. Um, there's locals. Which I might just get into the story. The story is actually really good,
Hmm.
which I've said before in Monster Hunter. Like the story kind of takes a back seat. Like nobody really cares about the story, but the story is like fully voice acted. Um, the characters actually have like some depth to them. They're good that way. Whereas in like World, not everything was voice acted. There's a lot of text that you just kind of mash through and don't really pay any attention. But being fully voice acted is good. Um, I think I've said before, like in Monster Hunter World, just kind of create your character. You don't have to put too much thought into it. You're barely gonna see them. They're never even gonna talk.
Hmm.
Not the case in Wilds. Your character is front and center the whole time.
Hmm.
You'll see their face. They talk. They have a lot of lines. It's really really cool how much they changed, and the story I think is actually pretty cool. Um, I won't get into any spoilers or anything, but basically you come to this new world that from like your understanding was like there was no human life there at all. You were just coming to explore and find research monsters.
Hmm.
But you discover this little kid who's like face down in the desert alone, and you find out his village was attacked by this giant monster, and he needs to find his home. So the story
Hmm.
is you trying to find his home, and it takes you through different villages. Turns out this area isn't uninhabited at all. There's tons of people. They just hide out a lot.
Hmm.
Um, so you get to see them a lot. And there was always kind of this concern with Monster Hunter that you were just kind of going into this new land and killing everything and not really showing any respect for locals or the environment there at all. They do a much
Hmm.
better job now of voicing that they're just here for research. They're here to help the locals. They're not here to take anything over or anything like that. So I thought that was kind of funny
Hmm.
that they addressed that. Um, the story, I mean, the game itself entirely is extremely easy.
Mhm.
um, they made this for the brand new Monster Hunter player.
Yeah.
Uh, it's I feel like in World, a fight could take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes if you were doing really well,
Hmm.
depending on the monster. 20 plus minute fights were kind of the norm.
Hmm.
Now it's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops to fight monsters. So,
Yeah.
um, I heard one YouTuber I like say, this is a perfect game to pick up a new weapon you haven't played. So, same as World, there's 14 different weapons. They all mechanically are completely different.
Hmm.
So this is a great game to play something you haven't played before
Hmm.
and try to learn yourself a new weapon, which is what I did. I did longsword throughout
Hmm.
the whole story, and it was a lot of fun. It's fun learning a new weapon, and that added a little bit of difficulty. But once you learn the weapon, I mean,
Yeah.
you're just gonna melt through monsters, no problem. It's pretty easy. Um, so a lot of people are complaining about that. However, Capcom usually listens to player feedback very, very well.
Hmm.
So uh, I'm a little nervous that people are being so vocal about how easy this is because there's still the expansion coming.
Yeah.
And if they hear, oh, it's way too easy, they'll be like, okay, here you go. And they will kick our butt, I'm sure.
They're
So,
gonna punish you now.
yeah, then, okay, I'll show you too easy. But yes, this is a perfect place for a beginner to start.
Hmm.
And uh, it really tries to onboard players. It doesn't give them too many crazy things. They don't give you um, um, decorations until the end of the story. They don't give you the Arshan weapons until the end of the story. They don't like the whole low rank and high rank thing. I always thought was really confusing.
Hmm.
So part of this in Monster Hunter World, part of the story was low rank, and then like I don't know, like 3/4 of the way through, the rest of the story was high rank.
Hmm.
And all that really means is there's going to be some repeated monsters that look different, or and now you have like two classes of armor. Like there's low rank armor and high rank armor and weapons. And I always thought that was kind of confusing. Like I had to look up videos of what it exactly meant when I was playing
Hmm.
World. But in Wilds, like the first story is all low rank. And then once you roll like the first set of credits, now you're in high rank, which makes more sense and just
Hmm.
means you've progressed further. Now you get access to better weapons and armor.
Yeah.
And then there's the second part of the story. So you're going to roll credits pretty quick. I rolled credits in like 15 hours. And I thought that was like, yeah, I'm like, fuck, damn, that was quick. But no, there's still, I think I didn't actually like beat the game until like 40 hours. So there's
Mhm.
a pretty good substantial game. So high rank is very big. Lots to do in high rank. Um, let's see what's next. So there was always like a rumor that there were going to be no elder dragons in this game,
Mhm.
and I would always say to myself, like, guys, that's ridiculous. It's Monster Hunter. There's going to be elder dragons in this game. There's no elder dragons in this game. They were right. Um, which is good because the elder dragons are extremely hard in World.
Mhm.
Um, they don't get stuck in traps. A lot. It really changes the way you have to play the game. They're
Mhm.
much harder in that way. So instead, you have apex predators and
Mhm.
this and wilds. So you get Ray Dow, which was shown. He's the cool yellow and blue dragon.
Mhm.
Uthduna is the giant fish whale thingy. Uh, they're really fun. Um, New Udra is a giant octopus, which
Mhm.
is really satisfying to cut off all his legs and then kill him
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So yeah, those are like the three big ones, and then there's I won't go into any more spoilers. Arkveld obviously has
Hmm.
um, been in there, the big white one. Um, yeah, let's see. What else did I write down? Um, I made these notes a very long time ago. The weapons I've been using a lot. Um, I used longsword through the story. That was
Hmm.
very satisfying. That's anime as heck. You can launch up in the sky and jump down and do
Hmm.
a bunch of slashes and stuff like that. It's really cool. Um, I did sword and shield for a while. I was um, surprised by how powerful the sword and shield is. You can just kind of go in there, mash triangle, and you'll kill it no problem. You don't really even have to do anything else. So sword and shield's a very good beginner weapon. Um, let's see. Switch axe was my favorite in World. So I gave it a shot in Wilds, and it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I think the loop of it isn't very much fun
Hmm.
because the loop is just to build up your meters, and then you do a big elemental attack, and then you can just kind of spam that elemental attack over and over and over and
Hmm.
over until your meter runs out. And I just didn't think that was very much fun. It does crazy damage. You
Yeah.
can kill monsters in no time, but I don't know. That wasn't much fun. And now I picked up Hammer, which I had never played before,
Hmm.
and I really really like Hammer. It feels like Great Sword, but faster. The Great Sword,
Okay.
you do like 2 or 3 attacks maximum in your combo, and then you got to roll out of the way. Where Hammer feels way more mobile. It feels faster. I really like Hammer a lot.
Hmm.
Dual Blades is always fun, and that's kind of about it. That's all I've tried so far. I want to go through the game and just make everything. Like I want to make every
Hmm.
piece of armor, every weapon, which is probably an unrealistic goal because they're just going to keep adding stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm working my way through the hammers right now. So I've
Hmm.
got a few hammers done. As far as things I don't like, I think the UI sucks. I'm a big UI guy. I love a good
Hmm.
UI. Monster Hunter World had perfect UI.
Hmm.
Wilds is very different. It's like yellow, and when you're in the desert is yellow. So when you bring up the UI, it's kind of hard to see sometimes. Like I
Yeah.
can't tell what I'm looking at. Uh, so yeah, I really, really don't like the UI. Um, I would have liked something very similar to World, but maybe just a little different. But man,
Hmm.
whatever. They're not going to change that.
Yeah.
Um, performance wise, I'm on PS5, just not PS5 Pro, but just normal PS5. And I played most of the game on like frame rate mode. That's what it defaults to.
Hmm.
And it's very smooth, obviously, but it kind of looks things look rough.
Yeah.
And there's like a weird haze over everything. There's always a haze,
Hmm.
and it's really noticeable and kind of irritating. Um, so after a while, I finally just kind of tried to change things up, which I've never had to do in a game before.
Hmm.
I tried switching, performance and frame rate mode, and I tried like changing the setting, like the modes on my TV itself, like from cinema mode or whatever it is,
Hmm.
UHD, HDR on or off, um, and I just mess with it constantly. But I think I finally got it to a good spot. Changing it from performance or frame rate mode, like choosing balanced,
Hmm.
really helped. I think that
Yeah.
locks it at like 40 frames per second, and everything just looks good. Like I can't tell the difference. I can tell the difference between 30 and 60 FPS, but hard to tell between 40 and 60, honestly.
Hmm.
And it just makes the environments look better to
Hmm.
where I don't care. I don't even notice the frame rates anymore.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, balanced makes a big difference. I like that. Um, Let's see, I wrote almost everything was in the trailers, which is true.
Yeah.
There was only a couple monsters that were a surprise for me because I watched all the trailers.
Yeah.
But that's fine. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
The food system, I'm not gonna say I don't like, but it's so different. So in like Monster Hunter World, before you go on your hunts, you would eat, and you'd get all your food buffs for the hunt. And when you came back from the
Hmm.
hunt, you'd have to eat again before another hunt.
Hmm.
Now you can cook anytime, anywhere, and it usually lasts like 30 to 50 minutes, depending on the ingredients you use. Now
Hmm.
you've got 50 minutes until all those buffs are gone, and they can be gone in the middle of a fight, and you have to like, and the food buffs like increase your health or your stamina. So
Hmm.
if your food buffs run out, like the 50 minutes is up in the middle of a fight, your health bar is now like like 2/3 of what it was. So you can get one shot easy before you have to like run away and bring out your portable grill and cook some food while your friends are trying to fight this monster. So I don't like that, but it's manageable. Now you just check before you go on a fight, you just check how much time you've got left. You can see it in the
Hmm.
top left hand corner. And as long as it's more than 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to be fine. You'll make it
Hmm.
through that fight, no problem. So that's something, one little thing I don't like. Um, I wrote cool little things. The sharpness meter. So all your melee weapons have a sharpness where
Hmm.
the more you attack a monster, your sharpness goes down. And then after a while, your damage goes down depending on the
Hmm.
level of sharpness. In previous titles, you bring out your whetstone to sharpen it, and you would have to swipe like 4 or 5 times, and then your sharpness gauge would fill up completely.
Hmm.
Now it's every swipe does a little bit
Hmm.
of sharpness, fills a little bit more sharpness gauge, and the final swipe fills it up a lot. So I think that's cool because sometimes you're trying to sharpen a little bit and you get it in 3 of the 4 swipes, but a monster hits you. So now you get none of your sharpness
Hmm.
refilled. But in wilds, it's different. Now you get a little bit for every swipe.
Okay.
And if you dull your weapon a lot, um, if you take it down to green sharpness and then you try to sharpen it all 4 times, it might not fill it up all the way. So you might have to take two
Hmm.
whetstones, which is a cool little mechanic. It's a cool
Yeah.
little thing according to this. Um, when you do cart, so like when you die in battle, that's called carting, and you get taken back to a camp by palicos, which are the little cats.
Hmm.
And you're not going to be carting very often. New players might, but I think I've still only carted, I don't know, less than 10 times in 100
Hmm.
hours. Like once you figure out how things work, you'll be fine. But the palicos that bring you back to the camp have little hats on and they have sirens on their head. I thought that was cute. That's new. Um, yeah, I mean that's about it.
Okay.
Um, we got the update I think a couple days ago that the first title update is coming this Friday, the 4th or the 5th.
Hmm.
I can't remember. Um, we're getting new monsters. The final boss is coming back, which is cool. You can only fight it once.
Hmm.
But now you can fight it all you want. That dragon, Mizutsune, is coming back. The bubble dragon, as I call it. You're getting a gathering hub that looks really cool,
Hmm.
which is like a place that everyone can go to in your party,
Hmm.
and they have like mini games in there. I don't know. I was excited to have one um, hub world. Like I'm just gonna go there all the time now, even
Yeah.
if I'm not playing in a party,
Hmm.
and just do everything there. It looks really really pretty, and they announced like a spring update. Like throughout, they'll change the look of the hub world. It's gonna be like blossoming trees and stuff like that. Really cool.
Yeah.
Um, there's like a Capcom collaboration coming later. Arc tempered monsters. So if you're complaining about difficulty, go fight that arc tempered Ray Dow. See how easy that is. You're probably gonna die a lot.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I mean it's perfect, man. It's everything I wanted. It's definitely different than I thought it was gonna be, but it is a lot of fun. I really really
Hmm.
like it.
Yeah.
It gets a two thumbs up,
Yeah.
a million thumbs up. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Good.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I remember when you texted me that you beat it the first time, or the first story part of it, and you were like, that was really short. I was
It
like,
was.
oh no, I hope there's more to it than that.
I have this weird thing with games, like with a movie. Okay, you know how long a movie's gonna be. It's gonna be around two
Hmm.
hours.
Yeah.
So you know when things are gonna start, picking up, or when things are gonna the end, the climax is
Hmm.
coming or something. But video games, you don't. You have no idea how
Yeah.
long you're gonna be there, and that really, really bothers me. It's, I don't know. I should work on it, but it really, really bothers me. So I had to text you and ask you how many chapters are in this game, but I didn't want you to tell me too specifically. So I texted Jake and I said, I need you to tell me how many chapters there are in this game without actually telling me how many chapters there are in this game. And I think you said, like, how am I supposed to do that? And I said, well, okay, is the amount of chapters more or less than the amount of players on a baseball diamond at one time? And and you said less. I'm like, okay. I mean, specifically like fielders, not the on deck batter or the umpires or things like that. You're like, still, yes, yes, it's less. Like, okay, okay, I can deal with that. And I think at the time, I wasn't very far away from beating the game.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was glad to get to roll the credits and know it was ending, and then I can just kind of focus on the little things that I want to do, like make all the armors and
Hmm.
stuff like that, and make new weapons. But yeah, it's a good game. It's the best Monster Hunter has been, I think. I think
Yeah.
World was I think World is a perfect game,
Hmm.
but it also had some things that needed improved on, and like maybe modernized, like with the open world stuff. And Wilds definitely did that. It's a perfect game for me. It's
Hmm.
probably going to be the only game I play this year, especially with all the updates. It'll be fine.
Hmm.
I'll have plenty to do.
Yeah. It's it's not really a game that you play till you beat it and then it's done. Like, which I'm happy for you about, because that story part of it was actually pretty short.
Yeah.
But that it's a game where you can. There's always going to be, you know, especially with updates. There's going to be so much more stuff you can do over the next year that, like, you have the potential to put hundreds of hours into.
Oh, easily. Some people put
Mhm.
thousands.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good for someone that like hasn't played a Monster Hunter like you. If you wanted
Mhm.
to jump in, you have a good solid game there. You have 40 hours of
Mhm.
story to do.
Yeah.
And if you tried it and you're like, you know what, this wasn't for me, but I still got a good experience out of it. You
Mhm.
still got you can say I beat it. I beat the 40-hour campaign. And you
Mhm.
could stop there and be satisfied, I think.
Yeah.
But there's also the sickos like me who just want to do everything, you know,
Yeah.
and get all the trophies and do the crown hunting.
Mhm.
And like the crown hunting, I've talked about it before, in World is so hard.
Yeah.
You basically just have to fight random monsters until you hope you find a crown, which is the biggest version of a monster and the smallest version of a monster. So you can get a gold crown and a mini crown.
Mhm.
So um, in Wilds, they give you binoculars,
Mhm.
and you can bring up your binoculars. You can look at a monster, and it'll tell you right away if it's a crown or not. So you don't even have to bother fighting it. Like if you're crown
Mhm.
hunting a Chatacabra, you just go to all the Chatacabra, look, bring out your binoculars, look at it. If it's a crown, fight it. If not, go do something else. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. You don't have to waste time.
Mhm.
I was reading on like Reddit, like people used to, when they go into fights, they would put the monster to sleep with like sleep ammo or something, and then they'd measure it with barrel bombs. And if that's how they could tell if it was a crown or not. And it's so subtle. Like there's countless times I see a monster, I'm like, oh, that monster's huge. That's a gold crown for sure. No, it's not. Or like it looks so small. Like it's got to be a mini crown. No, it's not. So it's a really really nice feature for the sickos that want to get all the crowns for all the monsters.
Yeah.
And the trophy, the platinum trophy is within view, Jake. I could get it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
just have to get all the crowns, which
Mhm.
is the longest part, and then I think I have to complete like 100 um, quests on multiplayer, and then I think those are the only trophies I have left. No, that's not true.
Okay.
The fishing, there's fishing in this one,
Mhm.
and you have to catch like 30 giant fish. And man, the fishing is hard.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. That's just gonna be a night where I put like a podcast on and just
Mhm.
fish, do nothing but fish for an entire day
Yeah.
and try to get it done.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts, man. It's perfect. I can't wait to see more of what they do. Expansion will be out in like a year and a half. That's usually how long
Mhm.
they take. Yeah, I'm gonna be playing this game a lot for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I know that was one you were looking forward to for a long time, so
Yeah,
the
it's
fact that it's out and it's seems like it exceeded your expectations.
yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, we
I
got
guess.
some more stuff coming up. I mean, there's another direct, if you can imagine that,
Yeah, in a couple
on the
weeks.
17th about Mario Kart. Um, we got Last of Us season 2
Oh,
starting in 2 weeks, I think.
I gotta get caught up. I gotta rewatch it. I gotta rewatch it
Yeah.
quick. I've only got through halfway through episode one.
Yeah.
I gotta keep moving.
Yeah. That is a long episode though, so
It is. It's
you can
probably one of the longer ones, huh?
yeah. But no, we definitely got some exciting stuff coming up here soon, so whenever we have time, we'll try and get on here and do this again. I know I'm going to be traveling a ton over the
Are
next
you?
couple months, so
Yeah, it's probably your busy season, huh?
yeah, we're getting into that. But we'll try and you know, when things come up that we want to talk about, we'll find a time to fit that in.
Definitely.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us at the A to Jump podcast. I am Jake, aka Gooba of Gooba and Jetpack, and I am always joined by Justin of Justin Games. You can find our other YouTube channels and all of our other stuff in the description. Well, with that, thank you so much, and as always, keep on gaming.
Keep on gaming.